Spinning wheel. I'm not. Oh, there we go. We are live. Hello and welcome, everyone. Jay Fazette here with the JVology Show number 83, which makes me wonder the hell I have else been doing during COVID. But today I am with my dear friend Jim Padilla, and we have a fantastic show for you. And a couple of things for those of you who do not know. Let's set up the process. For those who do not know, my name is Jay Fazette. I am the host and the founder of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. And this is the JVology Show, one of the ways in which we feature our tribe, our community, our world to other JVology members and to everyone else, because there are some of the coolest, smartest, most brilliant, and creative business people on planet Earth in our community. So for those of you who do not know, a couple of things about this. We share these interviews all over God's green earth, and you might be watching this on one of our other pages. And if you're watching this on one of our other pages, what I would strongly suggest is click the little button just above the video so you can come on over to the broadcast page so we can actually talk, because we're going to be talking about sales. We're going to be talking about actually ringing the cash register, but doing so in a way that is aligned. And there isn't a business that I know of on planet Earth at this moment in time that couldn't use some more sales. So make sure you come on over to chat. Now, the other thing I got to tell you is that I want to play our two little intro videos so you get a sense of who's who and what's what in the zoo. And we can't make an animation and then not play it. So we're going to play this. And when we come back, Jim is going to share with us what they've got coming up and how it's going to support you to make more money while being aligned to your message. We'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back with Jim. How are you, brother?
I'm living the dream, man. Great animation. Might as well acknowledge it, right?
Thank you. I just need a little bit longer because I don't have quite enough time to have a sip of coffee when that happens.
I know.
So, Jim, let's start with the 5,000-foot view of who you are, what you guys do, and what you got going on in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Jim Padilla here and my wife, Cindy. We are partners in this crazy company called Gain the Edge. And we are particularly known as an outsourced sales solution for high-level business experts and influencers. So our team, if you've participated in somebody's very successful multi-million-dollar launch or live event and bought a product, there's a possibility that you spoke to somebody on my team to help make that transaction happen. So our focus is being able to help people live into their mission and their purpose and their calling by growing your business without you having to become a sales expert. And we've got dozens of ways to make that happen, in addition to outsourcing the sales.
So I think that's a really important piece. I think you and I first crossed paths about 8 or 9 years ago, the first time I spoke at the Joint Venture Insider Circle, and you guys were working in that process. Now, here's the thing, and I think you and I had chatted about this briefly, is that it's sometimes hard when you see somebody in one particular role. It's like, oh, they do sales for other people. But the truth of the matter is that you are helping entrepreneurs and organizations and you know, even some of the niches and markets that are not so let's call it sales comfortable, healers and coaches and those sorts of things, really ramp up this idea of what it takes to create a conversion, you know, without sacrificing your soul. So talk to us a little bit about how that evolved from just doing the back of the room to this entirely other range.
Yeah. Well, the first part is when we're working in the capacity that we're only working with the top 10 to 5% of the industry, which means we were eliminating 95% of people that we're dealing with. And it's not fulfilling to do that. And we want to be able to help more people. The other challenge is every sales guru on the planet is teaching some sort of, you know, first of all, they say, this is the way. As soon as you say, this is the way, you've already lost me, because there is no such thing as the way. But everybody is mastering all kinds of different scripts and 10-step processes and blueprints and formulas. The problem is every single script that was created by somebody else for them, for their marketplace, for their offering, for their price point, for all the things that they do. And then they say, well, it worked for me. Let me sell it to somebody else. And now you are the round hole trying to fit a square peg in. And sometimes you can force it, but it's not designed for you to win. So what we do is we literally take a completely different approach. You want to be natural, unaligned. I believe firmly that the truth sells better than anything else, and nobody buys anything before they buy you. And the most enrolling thing you will ever do is be the best version of yourself. So we just focus purely on how do we get you fully optimized as a human, so that from that place, you can share a fantastic message and pull people your direction magnetically, because people will follow you willingly to make a great decision in their own best interest if you show up as the person they need. It's that simple.
So it's that simple, and it's that complex.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, you want me to ask for money?
Yeah.
So what? Because I really always love these interviews to lead with some great content. What do you think is the biggest barrier that people face in just like bringing their whole selves to the conversation? Like what is the story or the BS that happens there?
Well, it's interesting because we teach a bunch of concepts. We call them our moves to make more sales without getting better at selling. One thing you'll never find in our processes is a script or 10-step process, right? Or formula. They are simply individual moves that call you out to being your best self. The number one move that we always teach is learn how to tell the truth unapologetically. And good chance that most of you already go, oh, well, I do that. It's like, I'm going to tell you that you don't, because if you did, you wouldn't even be on this call. You'd be so busy with business that you wouldn't even know where to stop serving people, right? So the key is, number one place is you're not telling yourself the truth in that you are great at what you do, and that people must line up at your doorstep to buy what you have because you are changing the game for them. If you don't own that reality to the place where you are unapologetic about it, you're already lying to yourself, which means by default, you're definitely lying to your people, which means you're limiting your success right out the gate. The other half of that equation is be willing to tell people the truth. And I don't mean, like a lot of people say, well, I don't sell to people who don't need it. And I get that. And I respect that. The problem is you won't tell them when they absolutely should take action, because you're the only person who really sees the truth going on, because they're so buried in it, they can't. You know, if you have a
they can't connect the dots, right? They can't connect the dots between where they're at and what this offer is and what it actually means. And
correct.
God, I got to tell you, I am guilty of that tremendously. It's like, this should be self-evident, but it's like, totally. Not if they don't understand what the hell a joint venture is.
Right. And also they get caught up in, we get caught up in not wanting to push too hard. Because I will tell you this, from a tactical perspective, the number one mistake most people make in sales is that you're focused on being liked, right? The whole no like and trust factor. Here's my deal. I don't know who invented it. I want to know who he is, because he should be making billions of dollars because everybody copied it. I don't believe in it. No like and trust is not true, right? Especially the like piece. The number one enemy to you making sales successfully is trying to be liked, because that is in a direct competition and conflict with wanting to tell the truth. You're not going to tell people the truth if you want them to like you. So you will never get to the place that you need to be, right? And so when somebody says something to me like, well, I'll do this next year. And I know for a fact that you don't have the luxury of waiting till next year. You are sprinting towards a cliff, and you're going to reach that cliff before next year.
Yep.
And not only that, you probably haven't told your wife that you're in this situation. And how many people have you told on your team? Because if you actually told them the truth, you'd be much more motivated to solving the problem. My job is just to help get you to clarity and hold you accountable to acting on the truth. I don't care if you say no, but I want you to say no with your eyes wide open. Say, yeah, I said no, and I told my wife I have a solution I'm not pursuing. I've told my team that I'm this close to going out of business, and I don't want to invest in this coaching program. Right? Those kind of things move the needle because they make you face the truth and do something about it.
I love that. So here's the so I have a question about this, because I want to poke around in this conversation for a brief moment. Like, it's not accidental that most small businesses and entrepreneurs actually they don't have a effing clue. I'm trying to. It's a family show. They don't have a damn clue about how close they are to the edge, about what actually does move the needle, about what is the reality of their not just their sales, but their expenses, their ongoing liabilities, their taxes. That like there's this whole, I'm going to call it active self-deception that goes on. That is a little bit batshit crazy. So I think it's got to be also difficult to help people tell the truth when they have often designed a system or a process to make absolutely certain that there's no way of truly knowing. So how do you cope with that?
Well, the first place that we teach a concept called playing in their sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
So if you show up to my conversation with me and you say, well, I'm going to pray about this. Awesome. I'm going to step into your sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the kind of person who prays for everything or only big things? How many times have you prayed? When's the last time you prayed? How long have you prayed about this problem that you're trying to solve? If you truly are that person, those things will be revealed. I've been praying about my finances for 6 weeks, and then I said, that's awesome. So do you think it's possible that prayer led to this webinar, led to this conversation, led to this offer I've just made you? Or are you just now trying to say, so you only believe God after the fact, but you don't believe God brought you a solution? I just want to be real with you. Mm-hmm. And that's not offensive. That's just having a real conversation. And then if they go, okay, I'm going to pray about it, that's awesome. You know what? I have a chair right over here. This is my Bible station. I start every single morning there, me and Jesus. I roll with Jesus. I'd love to pray with you. Can we do that? I'm going to step in your sandbox. Yep. Or if you say, it's not in my budget. Great. Let's talk about your budget. When's the last time you looked at it? Do you actually know what's in it? And do you use a budget as your excuse? When's the last thing that you had to make an adjustment for on your budget? I know what my budget is. I know that if I'm going to go over budget by 2,000 here, it doesn't mean I can't do it because my budget doesn't say it. It means I need to make an adjustment somewhere else for that same 2,000 on another line item. That's called managing your budget. Are you truly using your budget, or are you using this as a deflection mechanism? I'm here to help either way, right? So I want to play in the rules you set.
Yeah, awesome. By the way, I love this. The budget one is always like, we're entrepreneurs. Go make more money. Like exactly. And I'm not as good as you are at that whole step. It's like, well, wait a second. It's like we're not employees, and we don't have to wait 2 weeks to get paid. We could sit here and craft an offer that could pay for the whole damn thing in days, weeks, maybe a month or two. But like that's what being an entrepreneur is we get to do that. And often I've said that, and people look at me like, "The hell do you mean?" It's like, well, why did we become entrepreneurs? Anyway, that's neither. You do it much more eloquently than I.
But that's a great segue to another point on that is the whole focus is like if somebody says I don't have the money and I can't afford it. If you ask any salesperson on our team, and we've got 100 of them, they're not allowed to say it. I can't afford it is not a financial condition. It's a mindset. It's not true. They're not even allowed to. We don't have a selection box in our dispositions for our team. You can't even select the box that says I can't afford it because that's not a viable answer. Mm-hmm. So if I can't afford it, all it means is I wasn't able to get them motivated enough, clear enough to do something about their decision. So they defaulted to that reason. The number one thing when it comes to I can't afford it is you have to look at this, you have to help them get to the truth. Mm-hmm. It's not that you can't afford it. It's that you're making an intentional choice not to spend your resources there. Let's start with that. Then
that's fine. And that is, exactly. I'm always cool with that, but let's not bullshit each other. Perfect. So I by the way, I appreciate this conversation because it is inspiring me in terms of some of the projects I got coming up here. So there's a whole bunch of things you got coming up. Let's talk about your event first, because I'm really excited about your event. I know that we are supporting the event, and we've sent a couple of emails already, just because I know our community, going back to this idea of being liked and connected and all those sorts of things, I know our community could really, really, really use the support and assistance in getting perfectly clear about the sales conversation. So I brought the page up here, and tell us a little bit about the event. Tell us what people could expect. Tell us who should be going, the whole shebang.
Absolutely. Here's the deal, as simple as we can make it. We have spent 30 years for me, 25 years for my wife. We got over almost 60 years worth of high-level sales leadership experience. We have literally generated over $250 million in sales. And what we have done is put it all into a simple process that strips out all of the stuff that everybody else is teaching. And we're just focusing on helping you do what you do naturally. The things you do, the things you did to enroll your spouse into marrying you, get your kids to eat vegetables or do their homework, or get your friends to go get your friends to go to the sushi restaurant when they all wanted to go to Italian. This is stuff you do every day, all day, without a script, without a funnel, and without a process. You just do it because that's how you've been naturally created to influence and affect other people around you. But when you get in a sales conversation, all of a sudden you put on this weird hat that doesn't fit and you try to be something that you're not, which is why people are not buying from you. So we are literally going to walk you through in our 3-day Make More Sales live event, which is coming up 9 days. And we're going to walk you through in 3 days a full immersion in how to shift and think differently, wrap you in all of our systems that will help you do this stuff predictably and effectively. Part of the reason you don't do it is because you're not aware of it. And then now that when you are aware of it, you got to spend all this time trying to figure out a system and then test the system and implement it. I've spent 30 years already implementing the system. Now we've perfected it. Now we're just going to wrap it around you and let you start winning customers instead of trying to sell your stuff.
Awesome. So what are seats and prices and all that kind of stuff? Because I really, and I want to be clear about this, gang, is like, I'm a big believer and supporter of Jim. I have, I'm going to send some of my staff to it as a additional perspective in terms of how this goes. I'll be there for a part of it. I have a US visa application in Toronto. That's going to overlap a little bit, but other than that, I'm going to be there, and I really want people to master this. So if you can give me the details, and if I can just say one other thing about this, and for those of you who've been watching this show fairly consistently, you know that I believe there's going to be a shit show on wheels coming our way in the next 6 to 9 months in terms of the economic ramifications and backflow from the COVID stuff. And I don't pretend to understand exactly what it is, all the rest of it. This is the part I know with every cell of my being, that those of us who are prepared and those of us who lead consciously and those of us who are not sticking our head in the sand have a far better opportunity to not just navigate our way through, but to actually create significant profit, wealth, contribution, connection, all those pieces. But that will not happen if we're on our heels in fear. And it's one of the reasons why I really want to support Jim and get you to get your ass to that event. Anyway, so it's important to tell us more of the mechanical details of what it's going to cost and all that fun stuff, Jim.
Definitely. And to piggyback on what you just said, one of the messages that we've been putting out to people is understanding that same exact thing, what now we're reaping now the decisions that were made last year and earlier this year. And next year, we're going to be reaping the decisions we make right now. And there will be people who will be decimated by the wave of what's happened in 2020. And there will other be people who ride that wave to success. Here's the most important part. It is a choice. Mm-hmm. You get to choose whether you're decimated by it or you ride it. And we want to make sure you ride it. So start mastering now so 2021 pays you well and serves you well so you can be the solution for other people. The first thing you need to do is jump in here. We have a general admission ticket for $97. Super simple, no brainer. You're going to get that ROI in the first 10 minutes of our event. The $197 is all it takes to invest in VIP. And at the VIP level, you're going to get some extra bonuses, some extra perk time, a bonus training during the event. And what I think is the most important, valuable piece of it is we're going to do a post-event debrief where we will literally unpack the whole event, how we planned it, how we filled it, how we structured it, how we put it together, what the results were, and everything is $197. That alone, even if you didn't show up for the event and just showed up for that, would be worth the $197 in spades. So just show up and be part of it. The other thing we've also added to this, if you go VIP, we're going to give you a bonus ticket to give away. We have a pay it forward program in our company, and our whole objective is to help you win. You don't just win by you making sales, you win by helping other people grow. So for every paid membership in our program, we give you a membership to give away. So if you have a client who's struggling to pay you, get them in our dang program and let us help them sell so they can pay you and solve their problem. So we become part of your solution through you to other people. And the event works the same way. You get a bonus ticket to give to somebody else. Get them at this event if you know they're struggling.
Love that. Okay, perfect. So now here's the thing. Straight up, every single one of us can use a ongoing sharpening of the saw when it comes to this idea of showing up, presenting, serving, and supporting our clients from a powerful and meaningful intention to contribute. Jim and Cindy have that nailed. But this is also a JV community, and this gets rebroadcast in all of our joint venture groups and all of those pieces. So tell me a little bit about that. There's also a JV opportunity coming up that could actually serve and support some of the folks who are in the community looking for great events, looking for great programs to share with their tribe. We should talk about that as well for a moment or two.
Amen. So we would love to partner with you if you have a community of people who, most importantly, need to make sales and have zero interest in becoming a sales guru. Mm-hmm. That's what we focus on. If they want to master sales scripts, become a sales expert, we're in the wrong place. Yep. Although we'll help them do that. But the main focus is you want people who know they need to make sales, want to make sales, don't want to have to master sales. And if those people are in your community, they will benefit tremendously by being part of this event and beyond. So the ticket price we're offering that. We'll give you 50% of that ticket price. It's a piece of cake. And then we are selling people into our mastermind and into our peak performance network, which is something that's an ongoing sharpening your saw opportunity. Basically, it's not a program that we sell. It is an environment for optimization. So basically, we provide all the support, live calls, as many as you can get to. We have 20 live calls a month, not because we expect people to get on them, it's because we want to eliminate your excuse saying, I can't make that day, I can't make that day. Guess what? You always have some call you can make so that you can get the support that you need. And if we have people who upgrade into that opportunity, it's a $300 a month environment that we give you $100 a month of that for life if you want to be a partner with us. And so we're just making this as simple as we can for you to win and everybody else to win. The only way you should be saying no to this is if you are already dominating in every other area of your sales and conversion and growth and visibility. If not, and I'm assuming you might not, because if you were, you probably wouldn't be watching this, just jump in, give us a chance to help change your perspective and the trajectory of your business. And here's, you asked earlier, why, what's the transition? Why are we coming out from behind the stage, behind the scenes here? Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I've been a reluctant leader. We've been leading leaders from behind the scenes. And part of it is, like I said, everybody's teaching all these different other concepts. And I'm like, well, I don't want to say this is different than better, but we've got $250 million worth of results. It's time for me to say, guess what? This is different and it is better. It is the way. I'm not saying scripts and all that stuff sucks and they don't work. They absolutely do. They're just not required. So if you don't resonate with that, jump on board with us and let us change the game for sales for you.
I love that. And I want to just echo the script piece because we trained facilitators for years and the interesting piece that I think has some very strong similarities to your grounding and your approach is that with facilitators, we always gave them a script to provide a framework. So this is where we're going. 10 facilitators have to deliver the same exercise and activity in terms of its purpose, function, and objective, but every single one of them had to actually insert themselves for alignment and all of those pieces. So we would always start with the script, but the objective was to get rid of it as quickly as possible so that they could own it and bring all of themselves to it. And I what I heard you say there is like, there's nothing wrong with the script, but it isn't where you should land is what I think I heard you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing with the script is just that the script can't plan for all contingencies. And it can't tell you what to think. And it can't tell you who to be. It can only tell you what you need to say. And that's such a limited piece of the equation. I coached high school basketball for 15 years and we had nationally ranked teams. We were very blessed. We spent all of our time teaching the kids how to navigate scenarios. We didn't teach them run this play.
Yeah.
So early on, they would screw up because they had to read situations. By the end of the season, they were destroying people because they could overcome any situation.
Yeah, that's very well put. All right, brother. Last word in terms of anybody sitting on the fence thinking about should I or shouldn't I or any of those pieces. Nudge away.
I'm going to piggyback on what Jay said earlier again about the timing of this. We know that this event's coming up, at least in America, 10 days before an election, and at the heels of this year that none of us could have scripted. There's so many things that are affecting your decision. And it's a lot of times, most often it's the environment. What we want you to be supremely aware of is that your environment does not have to control you. It will control you if you can't control how you influence people. We want you to be at the tip of the spear of the movement you're creating so you can show up as the ultimate leader for those people to follow so that no matter who wins in Washington, you win in business.
Awesome. I love that. All right, my friends, here's the thing that I know in terms of talking and serving and supporting entrepreneurs quite literally for 35 years is that the most difficult spot is this idea of lead generation and conversion. Most of you are rock stars at delivery and the other pieces, but this front end of the business, you solve that. And honest to goodness, the deep sigh of relief, the joy of being able to hire support, all of those things comes quickly on its heels. And there is only one way to handle it, and that is to actually get yourself into an environment. I like that, your environment for optimization. Get yourself in an environment that focuses on service, that focuses on sales, that focuses on leveraging and solving this unbelievably powerful problem for businesses. So get yourself there personally, because all of us can use some sharpening of the saw. And absolutely, if you're interested as a partner, reach out to Jim. You'll be able to click on him on Facebook here, and he and Cindy will take tremendous care of you as fantastic partners, and we will see you there. Jim, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks. Been an honor.
All right, gang. We will see you soon, and take care. Bye-bye.